Today's episode is sponsored by Buzzin' Gum. Buzzin' is a caffeine nootropic gum that provides an energized, boosted focus with great flavor. Buzzin' excels in flavor due to its liquid core technology, in which biting into it will be similar to that of a gusher. Check us out at buzzinggum.com and our social media channels via Instagram, TikTok, etc. at Buzzin' the Gum. Stay sharp, stay buzzin'. Welcome back to episode 9 of the Bullpen Talk. Today we have college basketball star Rowan Brumbaugh on with us. Rowan, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Of course.
No problem.
So I want to start it off kind of talking about your path growing up playing basketball. When did you realize you were good enough to play college basketball? When did that come about?
I'd say probably like 8th grade when I was living in DC. I played a bunch of sports. I played lacrosse, baseball, but I was best at basketball, so I kind of just ran with it after that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've kind of had a unique journey up to this point, transferring to various different schools. Do you kind of want to talk to us about the step to do that and eventually get you to the ACC where you're at now?
Yeah, so I mean, I was at Texas for a year. I did my redshirt year there.
Okay.
Beard, he got fired like 3 weeks into the season.
Huh.
So that whole staff kind of left. So it didn't really make much sense for me to stay. And then I kind of made a little bit of emotional decision just to go home. I still wanted to play high major. And, I don't think I looked into what was extremely important when I went to Georgetown. And I had a solid freshman year in the Big East. I think I averaged like a little over 8 points and like 2-2. But my coach basically told me he was going to recruit over me after the year and that even if I was better than the guys he brought in, I wasn't going to play. So I was like, all right, I see where your head's at. And then I went in the portal and I was kind of down to like Cal Berkeley, UW, and Tulane. And I thought Tulane was just a great fit for me. One of the old assistants recruited me really hard there. I had an uncle that played football at Tulane. So it made a lot of sense. Plus, it's a great academic school. So yeah, I had a great 2 years at Tulane, loved my time there. And then this portal cycle, I had a lot of schools recruit me. I was really down to like SMU, BYU, Vanderbilt. Yeah, those three, and like Indiana, but yeah.
So after your first year at Georgetown, what were some things you kind of learned in that first year actually playing college basketball? Like what type of stuff?
I'd say just really trying to stay even keeled because the season's so long and there's going to be so many positives, there's going to be so many negatives, there's going to be so many up and down, so many people are going to have a voice and something to say. But I mean, for me, it was like diving into my faith and just knowing that, whatever happens is already written and I was at peace of that. And I was going to, do my best and work my hardest every day. And if it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and so you were talking about these three schools. You got down to Vanderbilt, BYU, and SMU. Obviously, three really good schools, three schools that compete. Like, what ultimately made you decide to go to SMU? Was it the facilities, obviously the coaching staff, and yeah, just like talk about that.
I think there's a bunch of things. I think, Enfield was the first head coach to call me when the portal opened. And him and I kind of really hit it off. He flew to New Orleans and I went out to Dallas and visited. So that was definitely a big deal for me. I would say their style of play, they lost, three of their leading scorers. So the guard room was wide open there. I'd say it's ACC. It's a great academic school, great alumni. And then obviously they had good NIL. So I think, all those factors tied into my decision.
How much different was that first portal cycle coming from Georgetown to Tulane to where you are now? You kind of proved yourself at Tulane, starting guard, averaging 18 plus a game in 2 straight years. How were you able to use that experience as leverage to have more opportunity in this second cycle?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, after my freshman year, I mean, I was really confident in my abilities still, but I still didn't have, the leverage like I did this coming portal cycle. So, after my freshman year, my options were, I still had high major, good options and stuff, and good money relative towards, to what the market was a couple years ago. And my agent really helped me. But it was completely different. We were kind of like, I was obviously guys like third, fourth option. I was kind of waiting for, a school to miss a recruit for them to come recruit me. And then this cycle, it was like, I was most guys like top point guard option. So it was like, I was kind of on my own timeline and stuff like that. So it was cool seeing it from like both,
Yeah.
Yep.
viewpoints or whatever.
And to that, like you played in the Big East, historically a great conference, and then you hopped over to the American, and then now you're going to the ACC. So what was like what did you do to kind of get comfortable with your style of play and get you to the position of like scoring that 18 points a game in the American Conference?
I'd say a lot of it was the offense we ran. I felt like it was really good for me playing. We kind of played like a 5-out offense with a big up top, and I'm good at that kind of like space and pace offense. And I think SMU has a similar offense, so I mean that also tied into my decision, of course. But I would say I watched a lot of film. The game slowed down, and I feel like I just really, really stayed in the gym and got a lot better, and then just trusted my abilities.
We saw a great improvement in like your just stats from your first year to your third year. What have you been doing this offseason to like advance your game to a whole new level this year?
I'd say when I go to the gym, like I'm not just there for hours on hours. Like I'm there and focusing on like specific things, and I'm really trying to, look at what shots I shoot in the game, like what are my most high volume shots, and making sure I'm like very disciplined in all my reps on that because I know I'm gonna get those shots in the game. So just making sure all my reps when I work out are, really high level, I'd say.
Yeah, and off that, I mean, you're going to be playing in ACC games. Like, what are you doing now that you think you would have done differently if you stayed an extra year at Tulane to prepare for like the Duke, the UNC, and those like various teams that you'll be playing against?
That's a good question. I'd say, I trust my abilities. I'm really excited for this year. So I don't think I'm like, doing anything different really. I'm kind of just trying to get better at what I'm good at and, you know, work on my weaknesses a little bit, like my mid-range game a little bit, but really I'm just trying to capitalize on my strengths and get better at what I'm good at.
Yeah, obviously at Tulane, they haven't made the tournament and I don't even know how long, but
Too
now,
long.
yeah, way too
Way
long.
too long.
So is it what are your all's goals and missions for this year? Can you win it all? What's your main goal?
I mean, I think every team's end goal is to eventually win it all, but you also have to be realistic, of course. I really like our team, though. I think we're 100% a tournament team. I think we can be a Sweet 16 team, and we can go even farther. I think we have really good guard play. David Terrell and I think are going to be a great backcourt. And then we have a elite big man, Jane Toombs, and I think we have really good shooters. So, I'm thrilled about our team. I think we have a great culture. We have guys that are, don't have like massive egos or whatever. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I love the guys so far. And I'm really excited for what we can accomplish.
And I want to ask you this is like the idea of like walking into like these various universities and playing these, big time games. Because obviously, like you're still at the Division One level playing at Tulane, but now you're walking in, you know, to play at Duke or UNC, and like, how are you, like not only preparing for the moment, but just like soaking it all in, like you've made it to that next step.
Yeah, I mean it's surreal still, like thinking about that. But I'm obviously blessed with my size, my talent, my coordination and stuff. But I also like from like seventh grade to 11th grade, I mean, I was in the gym at 6 a.m. every single morning. Like I wasn't partying like that. So like I did make a lot of sacrifices to get to this point. So, I trust my work and, my faith in God. So I'm at peace with whatever the outcome is, but I'm super confident and I'm really excited to, go show the world.
Throughout this whole process, I'm sure you've looked up to people in basketball and just, off the court too. Who would you say has been your biggest mentor? Actually, I'm going to ask who's been your biggest basketball mentor, and then also like, off the court with like your real life.
It's a good question. So I'd say my biggest basketball mentor has been my two coaches growing up, Rodney Pryor and Doug Dormu. Doug Dormu, he had one arm growing up, so he had a disability, and we would, I mean, he played college basketball with a disability, so he kind of just ingrained in me like, you're a white kid from DC, you're gonna get labeled a DC, like a Division III guy. You go to a good academic school, all that stuff. So just like don't let a label define you by any means. So like he really instilled that in me. And then Rodney has really helped my skill development. And like we watch a ton of film and stuff, and we break down like literally point second by like point five by point five. So he's really good on that end. So they both helped me a ton. And then you asked about real life. I have an incredible family, my mom, dad, little sister, uncles, everyone I'm super close with, and they're always great. And then I have two mentors, especially from like a business lens that I really talk to. This guy, Robert Thorson, he's a Georgetown alumni. He started his own private equity fund. We talk a ton. And then Peter Deutsch, he's the founder of Deutsch Wine, which is a big wine distributor. So him and I are, extremely close, and they're both very impactful people in my life, I'd say.
Awesome.
And also, like having that in sports is super meaningful, and having a good family carries over. So back, and also like kind of going off that with like the family aspect of it. Like you've obviously transferred a few schools to a few schools. Like what is that like? Being with your teammates and leaving, and then starting, I guess, over. Like what are you doing to like prepare yourself for that? Because I played D3 baseball for a year. Not at your level. Transferred over to Tulane, and that's like a whole new group of people you're trying to meet.
Where'd you
So
where'd you
like
play at?
Swanee in
Oh,
Tennessee.
Swanee? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a great school. Yeah.
Ask
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Ask him how much he played. It's all good
The
though.
the big zero. I was a morale guy, man. I was out there to make sure the boys were having a good time
Yeah, right.
when we were losing by big margins.
Right.
But yeah, like back to that question of like how do you build that family aspect that is so important in sports when you're always like bouncing around, and obviously not just you, it's a whole NCAA. Like every single
Right.
school is a new team. You know, come the new transfer portal cycle. So like, what do you do personally to kind of help fix that issue? I guess in the locker room.
I mean, it's a good question. It's definitely tough because like again, I don't know. I wouldn't say like I've wanted to transfer all these times, like especially leaving Texas, even leaving Georgetown. At Tulane, I feel like I kind of maxed out there. Like I did all I can do, and I graduated. I feel like I had to go to the next level to achieve my dreams. So I mean, it's always hard meeting new people, moving to a new city and stuff. But after that first week or so, you get acclimated, you get real close with the guys, and everyone understands it because everyone's doing it now. So it's like pro sport. It's literally pro sports. So
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous, dude. Like we had a data scientist on here, or analyst that came on here, and he basically broke down. He thinks that college athletics are going to completely disband from the university and become a pro
yeah,
sports league. Because I mean, you're seeing all this wild stuff, and I'm all for the NIL, but like there needs to be some regulations and something that works, that's efficient, but the players should get what they're worth. But like, what's
of
your
course.
yeah, like obviously, what's your opinion on like the NIL and then the new 5 for 5 rule? We like asking people about that they just approved, where it's like you get 5 years of eligibility and that's it. So you don't have like 27-year-olds that not calling out LSU here, but like their whole teams,
Yeah,
like their
we play them
average
this year
age.
too.
Yeah, like the average age for LSU is like 24 years old, which is kind of
Yeah,
unheard
it's
of.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, so I have nothing against NIL. I mean, I don't think you guys would if you were in my shoes too.
No,
So I mean,
absolutely
all
not, man.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
No, so I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, it is chaotic for sure. Like you have a lot of guys that go in the portal or that are literally basically just going from school to school just to chase a buck, which is like, understandable if you don't come from much money or something, and like this is your opportunity to max your earnings out or whatever. But there are like a lot of problems that come with that. Like it is harder to, maintain quality friendships when you're bouncing around so much, which obviously like plays a big impact on people's lives and stuff. So, well, like there can be like good like short-term monetary gain and stuff. I think there's a lot of like, you know, maybe like unfortunate issues that we'll see on the back end, whether it's just like with, friendships and stuff like that. Um, but I do agree there needs to be some regulation, clearly. And like, but the funny thing is like the SEC, like they don't really need the NCAA. Like they could already go branch off right now.
100%.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? So
I heard like there were rumors that the Big Ten and the SEC were like threatening to back away, and I think that would be insane. But they could, you know.
they definitely could, yeah.
I mean, I think it's just
They hold the
interesting,
power.
too. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is like, it's just super interesting. And I mean, like, no offense. I mean, Tulane's football team rolled out there, and obviously we go to Tulane, we're Tulane students, but it's like, there's a huge gap difference in talent, atmosphere. And in my opinion, it's super different when you go to, play at Tulane with 30,000 fans at most, and then you go to, Ole Miss where it's like 80,000. And then you expect them to win a college football playoff game, and then do that again the next week. So it's like a huge gap. And it's like,
It's
how do
huge.
you, yeah, like how do you make it fair for these teams like in the MEAC? Obviously, basketball is a little different, but in baseball, it's like, you'll have like a Norfolk State, where I'm from, Norfolk, Virginia, go out and play like a UVA or UNC, and they'll lose by like 15, like every single time. So I don't know if they change the league rules or something just to make it more fair and more competitive. And also like what you were talking about is chasing that extra buck, like making sure that these players are compensated properly at the place they want to be initially. And if it's not a good fit for them, I'm like, okay, go and leave. But the whole idea that you're just leaving for an extra buck is, you know, a little absurd, but also a good thing. Because like you said, if I was in your position, I'd probably be doing
I
the
think
same
it's
thing.
just situational for guys.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
And it's like the thing is like at the end of the day, it's a business. Like SMU, there's a tons of wealthy alumni. Like they're gonna have a ton of money. Like Norfolk State, like I don't know many donors that are gonna donate to watch the basketball game. Like it's
Yeah.
business. And that's what happened. That's what's gonna happen with like the non, sports that don't create revenue. Like they might get, I mean, except for Title IX, like if
Right,
the
right.
SEC and the Big Ten like branch off, like those sports could be no more. And like a lot of these athletic, like I don't know how sustainable this NIL stuff is because a lot of these athletic departments are running at like straight deficits.
Yeah. Like 30 million. It's ridiculous. I
And
mean,
at some point, like these
yeah.
investors, these big donors, like they need some ROI. They need some return. And if you're just gonna keep donating to like a mediocre program each and every year, it's like they're gonna pull out eventually. You know what I mean?
Football and men's and women's basketball is like pretty much the main profit sports, revenue.
I think it's mainly football and then basketball at some schools.
Barely. Yeah.
Definitely not women's basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
it's like, I mean, there's the
Maybe
Iowa, I guess,
LSU, but like,
and LSU and Iowa, that's about it.
yeah, that's probably it, right?
right.
And what's also like super interesting too now is like you don't really have those upset stories in the NCAA. Obviously, you're at Tulane, and like you were saying, the talent gap is so different now, especially in college basketball. Is like a Duke will beat a Tulane University 10 times out of 10 times, in my opinion. I mean,
10 times.
and like they might get lucky, but I mean, it's got to the point where like 4 years ago, you were saying like St. Peter's make runs. That's not happening anymore. That's not like it's not really possible. And like High Point, and everyone thought High Point was a huge upset, but that school yet alone has a lot of donors and has a lot of money. So it's
They
like
had good money.
exactly they have great money. That's why they're going in and beating a Wisconsin. They're kind of because they don't have football. Basketball is like where the sport that gets all their money. So like you'll see schools like that, I guess, compete like schools you haven't heard of, but they're just going to be schools with money at the end of the day. Tulane should be competing, in my opinion, but that's a discussion for another day. But
Another thing is like there was a record low number of people that entered the NBA draft this year, I think, or at least
Underclassmen, yeah.
yeah.
Because
And
there's no
like
point. It's like
right, if you're gonna make more money than you would,
make more in college.
right.
And it's like college. It's like it's fun.
Yeah, I'm wondering when you transferred, obviously NIL is like high in your priority list, but I'm hearing some coaches say their players' first question is how much money am I going to make before it's even like how much will I play? I'm wondering like how you kind of balance your priorities when you entered the portal for the second.
Like what my values were.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for this year, I feel like I got a great degree from Tulane. So, academics were definitely like my top priority, probably in undergrad, I'd say.
Mhm.
I'd say this was all about basketball fit. Um, I wanted to win. I wanted to go to a program where, like, selfishly, I feel like I could do well. So I'd say those two things. And then, obviously you're going to take NIL into account. Like who wouldn't?
100%.
So I'd say my values were definitely going somewhere where I could win and where I could, personally do well. And then I'd say NIL, and then, it's a bonus if it's a good school, if it has good alumni. But I don't think that was at the forefront of my decision.
So, from a player's perspective in college basketball now, like, what are you seeing that NIL has opened the door to? Like, what I mentioned earlier was the idea of like, you'll see the same teams winning that have the most money. Like, do you notice that, or you just believe that there's just like a different gap between like ACC, American, like SEC? Like, what are you seeing that, like, I guess a normal spectator from the outside looking in, wouldn't really see?
It's a good question. I'd say like basically every good mid-major player is going to get poached. So if you do well at the mid-major level, low major level, you're going to go to the high major level. So wait, what do you mean? Can you explain the question again? I'm just kind of.
Yeah. So, like, what are you like seeing in college basketball, or like as a player, like navigating the NIL portal or like the transfer portal and all of that, that like, a normal person wouldn't see, that you
Oh,
think it like makes a difference? Like, what's the smallest thing that like you've seen that you think makes like the biggest difference that like someone else wouldn't be able to pick up on with the new NCAA transfer portal and everything happening in college basketball?
I mean, obviously money is very important. Like you need a baseline of money, which is gonna, provide a baseline of talent. But then from there, you need the right pieces. Like the teams that do well, like have all the right pieces. You obviously need good big men. Like look at Michigan. Like you need a paint presence, which obviously comes with a baseline of talent. So I'd say that, but I'd also say like there definitely is a vibe shift. Like I remember my freshman year in Texas, like there was a little bit of money, but like now with how much money it is, everyone's acting like a superstar. You know what I mean? Like everyone's living a lavish lifestyle in college, like, and it is unfortunate because like a lot of kids, I don't think they know what to do with their money, and like they just go blow all of it or a lot of it or just spend it on the wrong things when like this is short-term money. Like most people that are making this money are not going to sustain this money. So you need to find a way to leverage what you're making now. You know what I mean? And invest it, get with somebody, like, get one nice thing, but like invest your money.
That's a great point, because one of the biggest problems I think is all these kids are making money for the first time, a lot of money. But I'm wondering, like, to you, what percentage of college players that are getting big NIL deals actually have somebody, they go to somebody to help, invest their money, learn about taxes and everything like that?
I think, there's so many resources at the school now. I think most people do. I think it's just like, what are these guys deciding to, how much are they, like, what percentage are they deciding to invest? And like, on top of the NIL, we get scholarship check, we get stipends, like we have our living, we have our expenses pretty much paid for. So like after taxes, you can pretty much invest 95% of your money. I mean, get a couple nice things, but like that's what
Right.
I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what's super interesting too is, these universities, like you said, have these resources, but at the same time, it's like a lot of these players, like you said, will leave their big time, and then eventually, their 4 years or 5 years are over, and they're like, "Oh shoot, I have no money," and now
Yeah.
I can't. And like one, they weren't job searching or building this is like things that would sustain a career like outside the sports field, and now they're in a big I guess, crisis of one, not having money that they could have been saving, and two, finding a job. So to kind of segue from that, like, what have you done, like, personally to like not only elevate your game, but also like become a better person through your experience in basketball? So like, what is like, how have you used basketball to like make you a better person and like impact people like, around you?
That's a great question. I'd say just basketball, like playing basketball, being part of a team, it gives you so much perspective just on like accountability, like leadership, being there for other guys. Like it's not all about you. It's a team sport. So I'd say just that by itself, like it's helped me like lead and become a lot more selfless than I like, ever imagined I could be. And obviously I'm still working on that, trying to become more selfless and stuff and take up more responsibility. So I'd say it's helped me a ton, but also like just playing basketball, like especially, I've gone to good schools and stuff. Like I've reached out to a lot of alumni and like I found a lot of mentors and stuff that like would like to talk to me, and they see a lot of, a lot of these big companies, these big firms, like they like athletes because they like athletes and they like, Navy, Army guys, Marine, military, because there's so many similarities with like being part of a team, discipline, accountability, showing up on time, playing your role. So like if you're an athlete, you can really take advantage of that, especially if you're like somewhat competent and like have some baseline education level. Like that's what I'd recommend a lot of athletes do. Like reach out. Like even in, and like I want to play in the NBA so badly. Like it's all I do. It's all I think about. But also like I have to be realistic with myself. Like basketball doesn't last forever. So
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Jack and I are trying to build something. It's a career development platform for student athletes so that they have a network where they can find mentors throughout their whole college athletics process. Because you're spending how like 40 plus hours a week with your sport, right? I mean, I can't even imagine having time to like, I'm sure you have some time to reach out to people. You're doing a good job of it, but I don't think every athlete's doing that, like they're probably siloed in on their sport and they kind of probably get lost on things that matter after college. So
yeah.
kind of segueing from that, you talked about your dreams about going to the NBA. What would you say is something about your game and play style that separates you as one of the best guards in basketball?
That's a good question. I'd say just I feel like I'm a versatile guard. I can play point guard. I can play off the guard. I can guard multiple positions, and I feel like I do a lot of little stuff like get steals, rebounds, set good screens, make the right play, and I can facilitate. I can make shots. So I just try to do a lot of the little things like set really good screens, get little steals, get offensive rebounds, get defensive rebounds. Just little things that like separate me.
Mm.
Just from
Yeah,
being,
and,
I'm not like an elite ISO scorer or anything like that. So I just try to know my strength and weaknesses.
and then you already talked about like film. Like, what are you doing to like prepare for those big games, those conference games, those like tournament games? Like, what are you doing that not only makes you a better player, but also a better teammate? To notice something that you can tell that your teammate, hey, this guy, is always going right, for example, or something, something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like I try to watch a lot of game film. I mean, I read my Bible, of course. That always just gives me great perspective. But I'd say just like, yeah, looking for like little niches in the other team's players or something like that. Like, little tendencies that like even the coaches may have not picked on or something like that, and pointing that out and just having it in my brain for when I'm guarding them or something.
And then are you a big like stats guy? Like what do you like how do you take that into account? Are you like looking at your stats or you're more so I'm gonna go out there and play and then reevaluate based on like what I did that game and see, where I can improve.
I mean, I'm definitely a big stats guy for sure because like you are your numbers at the end of the day, but like again, like analytics don't tell the full story. Like if you watch a game face value, like you're not leadership, talking, diving on loose balls, like a lot of intangible stuff may not show up on the stat sheet. So I'm both, I'd say. But then again, like stats are production. So
Yep.
I think a lot of that little stuff goes overlooked though. Like now the game is becoming so analytics driven. So like you do got to care about what's on the stat.
of course, percentages are everything, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What so we've been doing this segment with all of our podcasts. What would you say is your favorite moment you've ever had while playing basketball?
It's a good question. Uh, I'd say like probably this past year at Tulane, just like being Memphis in the conference tournament after we lost them at home. I'd say that was really fun. I had a good game and we were in Birmingham and I was just with all my boys. That was a ton of fun. My dad was there, so it was a great time.
Hell yeah.
And like what's the biggest thing you're like looking forward to now being at SMU? Obviously, like you did what you needed to do at Tulane. Like you said, you got what you got. You got what you needed to get out of Tulane. And now you're at SMU. You're walking into the ACC. Like, what are you the most excited about, for this next season?
I'd say just playing with these guys. Like I've met them all week, and they're just all great guys. They're like, so I'd say just going out and fighting with them every single day. Like I'm really excited for that. And then, everything else, all the personal stuff, it's going to take care of itself. But I'd say just competing with the guys every single day.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of wrap it up, I mean, it's just like one thing that we like asking our athletes is like after the game, like how do you want to be remembered and like what's the impact you're trying to leave, like not only on the court, but also just like as a teammate, as a person, and obviously like as a person in society as well. It's like, how do you want to be remembered once you're done playing basketball, and then after it, how are you going to use basketball to shape you into that person you want to be?
It's a great question. Um, I'd say I think when I was younger, like, and even now, just always trying to be the hardest worker. Like, again, I think a lot of people, thought I was just gonna play D3 and stuff. So I have a lot of pride in just being like a very hard worker. But I think as I get older, like, as terms of leaving an impact, like, I feel like when we're young and even now, still, we're just such takers because, like, we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do in the world. Like, we're trying to learn all this stuff. So I'd say just be remembered as like a great teammate who truly has like a good heart and cares about like the well-being of other people. And I obviously need to do a better job of that. So I think I'm gonna really pride myself and try to like put habits and systems in place to achieve that this year.
Yeah, man, that was a phenomenal response. And once again, thank you for getting on bullpen talk. We know you're busy, and from us, we wish you the best this season and good luck, man. And hopefully you can
Thank you guys. This was great. I'm glad you guys are
hopefully
doing
get ball
this.
out.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool little
appreciate
thing,
it, bro.
man.
Yeah,
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
it, man.
on.